Breaking news overnight that the U.S. ambassador to Libya has been killed along with 3 other diplomats. We have details here this morning on the News Hub. Good morning. I'm Jeanette Newman. We have a great show for you today. First, we turn to an unfolding story, and we have on the line Margaret Coker in Abu Dhabi. Margaret, thank you so much for being on the phone. I know you're in the middle of this unfolding story. Please tell us. It's not clear yet exactly what are the circumstances surrounding the U.S. ambassador to Libya's death.
Right. Well, we know that he and 3 other American diplomats were killed last night when a violent mob stormed the consulate in the eastern city of Benghazi. Benghazi was the birthplace of the Libyan revolution last year, but there's also a fringe element of radical Islamists there. They seem to have taken offense at the video that was produced by an American Jewish man, and they've taken offense because they say the film depicts the Prophet Muhammad in a very disrespectful way. The consulate was overrun last night. It was burned to the ground, and we're not sure yet whether the ambassador and the 3 other Americans were killed via smoke inhalation because of the fire, or whether they were actually shot at as they were trying to flee the consulate.
And Margaret, when was the death confirmed? Because as of early this morning and definitely late last night, the U.S. had not come out yet and spoken about what had happened. It had just been Libyan officials. When did the U.S. confirm that this in fact happened?
The White House put out their statement roughly about an hour ago. I have been on the phone with my Libyan sources all this morning here in the Middle East. It seems that overnight there was a really widespread dragnet, a manhunt to try and find both the people responsible and also to recover the bodies of the Americans. Of course, it's protocol among the American Foreign Service and American servicemen that relatives are notified first before the names are released. I'm sorry, I knew Ambassador Stevens for a long time, too. It's a hard day to be a journalist.
And what, Margaret, I'm so sorry, what can you tell us about Ambassador Stevens? You've obviously been reporting from the Middle East for many years, and in your story, you know, you write about how he was a well-known ambassador, had spent a lot of time and put a lot of effort in, was fluent in Arabic, and it sounded like by all accounts very, very well respected by both journalists like yourself and other diplomats, making this day even harder for you to report on.
That's right. Ambassador Stevens used to be a lawyer, and he decided to join the Foreign Service in the early 90s. He had taught English in Morocco in northern Africa for a couple of years, and then joined the service, learned Arabic, and has had a long career here. Many of us who have been based in the Middle East for the last 10 years, we've known him in his various postings. In Libya, he was instrumental with the rebels there last year to both be the U.S. liaison to the rebel leadership and the rebel government in their transition to a democracy. And so lots of Libyans, as well as journalists and other people in the region, are really sad for his loss today.
And what does this mean moving forward for relations between the U.S. and Libya? Obviously, again, Libyan officials came out quickly and condemned this, but nonetheless, there are these deaths. What does it mean moving forward?
Well, we're going to have to wait for a response from Washington. The last time that a U.S. ambassador was killed by hostile forces was in 1979. That was at the U.S. Embassy in Kabul at the time when the Mujahideen, the Islamic jihadists, were trying to take charge of the capital in that country. It's an election year, so it's anyone's guess as to how the U.S. is going to respond to this. The Libyans are scrambling right now to try and figure out their own security response. We've been reporting all year and last year that one of the weaknesses, the Achilles heel of the new democratic Libya, is that no one has control over the different security forces. There's absolutely no indication that Libyan security forces were involved in these deaths, but they're going to have to try and bring some people to justice here. It's just mandatory at this point.